Hello friends, you're watching English with D, the channel with no jargon, only useful information. This video is the final lecture on how to attempt writing task 2 of type agree, disagree. In the first part, we covered how to write this type of essay when you agree with the statement. In the second part, we covered case 2, that is when you disagree with the statement. And in this lecture, we will cover the final case, that is how to write when you partially agree with the statement. But before we begin, if you are a new viewer, then subscribe to our channel for more such useful lessons, and needless to say, share and like this video as much as possible. So let's get started. First, let's see what will be the basic structure of this type of essay. As we have discussed earlier as well, that in this type of essay, the introduction will change according to the case, and in the later part, you will learn how to write introduction for case 3. Next are the body paragraphs. Now listen and watch very carefully. While planning your essay, you need to write points both in favor and against, since you partially agree with the statement. So, the side for which you have more points should be discussed in the first body paragraph. For example, if you have more points in favor of the statement, then discuss the arguments that support the statement and try to write at least 2 arguments with examples. Then, in the second body paragraph, would come the other side for which you have less number of points, which seems logical. And finally, the conclusion, summarizing your opinion and arguments discussed in the essay. Now you will learn how to make introduction in this case. The basic structure of introduction will remain the same. You shall start with a good line relevant to your essay, then introduce the task, and finally give your opinion and mention what will be discussed in the essay thereafter. Note carefully here that we have agreed there could be some practical problems due to language barrier. Now since we have agreed with this aspect of essay statement, so we shall have more points on this, and this should be discussed in the first body paragraph. Also, we have mentioned that on the social front there should not be major issues, hence disagreeing with this aspect of the essay statement. So, this shall be discussed in the second body paragraph. Now let's see what could be the practical problems that a migrant could face due to lack of knowledge of local language. You need to first prepare your arguments and then try to elaborate these arguments in the first body paragraph along with relevant examples. Now have a look at the body paragraph which we have prepared. Now watch very carefully that first we have presented 2 arguments to support our opinion on practical problems, and then a relevant example is given to strengthen these arguments. And finally, we close off the paragraph with another argument in support of our opinion. So, this is how you should also frame your first body paragraph in this type of essay. Now comes the other side of the argument, that is, social problems which we disagreed with in our introduction. First, have a look at the argument which we have written down, and now look at the body paragraph which we have prepared using this argument. Watch very carefully. Here again we have started with the social problem which the migrant could face. Now, since we said that this should not be the case, so we have to counter this point with the argument which we have done here with example. Also note very carefully that in the first body paragraph we discussed three arguments, and in the second body paragraph we discussed only one argument. We have done this purposely to support our opinion which we made clear in the introduction. Since in the introduction we mentioned that we agree there could be some practical problems, so we presented more arguments highlighting the practical problems. And we disagreed with social problems, so we presented one argument to refute this aspect of the essay statement, which should be sufficient enough for the examiner. And finally, we have our conclusion. Notice again that we have not used the common phrases to start our conclusion, which are to conclude, to reiterate, to recapitulate, in conclusion, in a nutshell, etc. And then we have presented our opinion on the essay statement, but with completely different words which are not used before in the essay. You must also try to write your conclusion with new words instead of repeating the words which have been already used in the upper part of the essay. This highlights your vocabulary range and adds variety to your writing, and for sure you will score good numbers on evaluation parameter of lexical resources. These are the small things which the examiner is looking for in your writing and which gives you an edge over the other students, separating you from the crowd and resulting in better score than an average student. So guys, with this we conclude our series on how to attempt IELTS Writing Task 2 of type Agree, Disagree. I hope you have learned something new and useful in these 3 lessons. Once again, new viewers, subscribe to our channel and do not forget to like and share this video. Thanks for watching.